Welcome in for another edition of the Morning Espresso here on the SDH Network. I'm Jason Longshore. And as always, the Morning Espresso is brought to you by our friends at Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. A lot of different things today on the Morning Espresso. It's the day before we get back into league action around the world after the international break. So, not a lot of on the field conversation, a lot of off the field conversation. We do have some UEFA Women's Champions League to talk about as well on the field. We'll get into a bunch of different things today in the Espresso. Let's start with Canada. We have drama. This is not new necessarily involving the men's national team in Canada and the women. It does not involve drones this time. It does involve an agent being upset and questioning the care and attention to detail of the manager. Alphonso Davies mentioned that he tore his ACL in the match against the United States, and his agent, Nedal Huase, came out and said that I am very disappointed. Alfonso was not 100% after the Mexico game, and it was planned that he was not going to start against the USA. On Saturday night, the expectation was he would not be in the 11. As a captain, I feel he was pressured to start the game by the coach. This is Alfonso Davies' agent putting this out to One Soccer in Canada. The agent went on to say that Alfonso's not going to say no in these moments. He ended up playing, and look what happened, is the quote. He said Canada Soccer needs to do a better job managing these players. Really surprising to see the agent come out and do this a little over a year before a World Cup that Canada will be involved in hosting. No comment from Jesse Marsch as of yet. The Canadian Soccer Association came out and said Canada Soccer's coaches and experienced medical staff are true professionals and have always prioritized player safety and well being. Anything suggesting otherwise is untrue. Really surprised by the agent here. And, you have to wonder if Davies knew this was going to happen or sanctioned it or didn't agree with it or anything that could be coming out of this. So stay tuned. Really silly drama. I don't know if, I guess where I draw the line is okay, he wasn't going to start, but he was going to be on the bench so he could have played. And it's not like he played 90 minutes before the injury, so if he'd come on and played 20 minutes, he still could have had the injury. Um, I don't know. It all feels very odd. We'll see where this goes. I would assume this isn't coming out of nowhere, and maybe there's been issues between the agent, Davies, and Canada Soccer for a little while, but stay tuned. Not what Canada needs to deal with after they have put the drone scandal, at least in the back burner for now. UEFA Women's Champions League recaps from yesterday. Arsenal, they were the big story. Real Madrid went to London with a 2-0 lead. Arsenal ended up winning 3-0 on the day and 3-2 on aggregate. 59th minute goal from Alessia Russo, her second of the day. That decided it. Real Madrid had opportunities, but Arsenal was able to overturn it. They will move on to the semifinals to face Lyon, who had to sweat a little bit against Bayern. They ended up winning 6-1 on aggregate, 4-1 on the day. But Bayern scored first. So that made it a little interesting here. Um, Made it 2-1 on aggregate, went to halftime at that score. All of Lyon's goals on the day came in the second half. Melchi de Mornay, her opener, came 27 seconds into the second half, and that started the avalanche. Lyon and Arsenal in one side of the bracket in the UEFA Women's Champions League. We'll find out who's on the other side today. Barcelona, they will host Wolfsburg. They have a 4-1 lead going back to Spain. They've reached the semis each of the last 6 seasons. They're unbeaten in their last 19 games at home in the Champions League. They will be fine. Chelsea, they host Manchester City, and they trail 2-0 in this one. The Blues have won all 16 of their home matches under Sonia Bonpastor, and they're unbeaten at Stamford Bridge in Europe since March of 2022. Man City are trying to get back to the semifinals for the first time since 2018. They have a 2-0 lead. Chelsea's had the better of them in this run of games where they've been playing each other consistently. Can Chelsea do it again and overturn a 2-goal deficit? We'll find out. NWSL Boston, they finally have a real name now, not a name that's going to get everybody riled up and have a marketing campaign that is cringeworthy. They will be known as Boston Legacy Football Club. That comes out yesterday. It's definitely an improvement. We'll see where the branding goes around from there, and hopefully it's a little bit better. PSG, their owners are reportedly in advanced talks to buy Spanish Division Two side Malaga for about 100 million euro. This is according to L'Equipe in France. The QSI, which is the owners of PSG, their portfolio already includes a 22% stake in Braga in Portugal. They definitely have the money to spend on that for Malaga, and Malaga is a club that has been in bigger heights than the Spanish second division. 100 million euro with the opportunity to build that back up. That feels like a worthy investment on the PSG ownership side, and we'll see if they end up going through with it. Uh, just looking at things, this is kind of crazy that if one of the clubs in the Club World Cup goes on to win it, they could go buy Malaga with the winnings and still have money left over. It's looking like $125 million is going to go to the winner of this tournament. The 32 teams involved in the Club World Cup will share in a $525 million pot for participating. Another 475 million will be distributed from the prize fund according to performance in the tournament. That's how you can get to 125 million in total if you win the whole thing. $1 billion prize fund. All of the proceeds from the event are going towards the teams to participate. And 125 million for 7 games is the biggest haul that you can have in world soccer. We'll see if they can pull that off. Whoever does, going to be a fun ride this summer. I'm looking forward to it. We'll be getting deeper into Club World Cup as we go, especially with 6 games here in Atlanta. Another Club World Cup story, and maybe it's down to some of the money on offer. John Texter, who anything's possible when it comes to John Texter, pretty much absolutely anything. Yesterday, a lot of Brazilian media outlets, including Globo, reported that Thiago Almada, who is currently on loan to Lyon from Botafogo, could go back to Brazil at the end of the season, which his loan ends on May 17th or May 21st, depending on if they get to the Europa League final. So his loan would end. Then he could go back to Botafogo, play in the Club World Cup, and then permanently make the transfer move to Lyon. Both clubs are owned by John Texter. So again, anything is possible. 27 million euro is going to move from one bank account to another bank account, is what's being reported in this. Uh, is he going to want to do this? I don't know. Is he going to is John Texter going to be able to convince him to do this? I don't know. Uh, I said at the beginning of the year, the calendar year, and at the end of last season, I wondered if he would stay at Botafogo for 6 more months just to be in the Club World Cup and then go to Lyon. Well, he went to Lyon. Now is he going to go back to Botafogo? We'll find out. Or is he going to want to be on vacation? My guess is that. Going to be interesting. We'll see how all of this plays out. He will be moving to Lyon permanently after this loan situation happens, but is there going to be a stop in the Club World Cup in between? We'll find out. El Clasico is coming up, and it should be a huge, huge game in La Liga with Barcelona trying to hold off Real Madrid and Atleti to win La Liga title. This has been something that's been going on since Barcelona's sponsorship deal with Spotify. So the the club has moved Spotify off of the front of the shirt for the El Clasico matches in La Liga, and instead they've put the logo of a music artist in their place. Earlier this season, in the game where Barcelona won 4-0 at the Santiago Bernabeu, Coldplay was on the front of the Barcelona shirt. Brought them some pretty good luck. They're not going to stick with that. So for the game that will be played in May in Barcelona, Spotify have started the process of selecting which act is going to be on the Barcelona shirt for the match. And according to Spanish media, it's going to be Taylor Swift. That jersey will sell a whole bunch of jerseys. According to the report, the agreement's almost done. The other possibilities were Ed Sheeran, Travis Scott. Looks like it's going to be Taylor Swift. She would join a group of artists like Drake, Rosalia, Rolling Stones, Carol G, and Coldplay, who have been a Barcelona shirt sponsor for a La Liga Clasico. And I'm just saying, the amount of jerseys that will be sold with Barcelona and Taylor Swift on it will be insane. Just get ready, save your money, be ready to buy that one. Let's stay in Spain, but let's take a little trip to Germany first because this is getting complicated. Xabi Alonso at Bayer Leverkusen. Lots of reports linking him to Real Madrid in the long term. What about the short term? He will reportedly be having a press conference, media availability this morning in Germany, or this morning our time, afternoon in Germany, ahead of Friday's Bundesliga match between Leverkusen and Bochum. And he's expected to announce what his future is going to be. He said last year around this time that he wanted to stay at Leverkusen. He did. Now, why does this involve La Liga, the Real Madrid connection, and why is it even more complicated right now? Well, you've got all the Brazilian media saying Dorival Jr., their manager with the national team, is going to get sacked. You get beat 4-1 in Buenos Aires, you get embarrassed, you're probably going to lose your job. In Brazil, they have been obsessed with getting Carlo Ancelotti as the manager of the national team. He might be available if Xabi Alonso says he's going to leave Leverkusen and Real Madrid says, oh, well, we're going to go hire Xabi Alonso. Thank you, Carlo. Here's your gold watch. Bye. And then he goes to Brazil. So lots of moving parts here, but maybe the first domino will fall with Xabi Alonso's announcement today on what he's going to do. He's at Leverkusen. Is he going to stay? Does he want to leave? Is this his last season? What's going to happen? Again, I say stay tuned because anything could go down in all of this. In Brazil, the reports are that the coaching staff are being hauled in to talk to the Brazilian Federation tomorrow to, I guess, explain what happened in Argentina. Good luck with that one. Chivas, they are going to host Cruz Azul in match day 13 of the Liga MX season, and they're going to do it behind closed doors because of incidents that happened at the end of the league match with Club America in match day 11. Aguilas players clashed with fans. A glass bottle was thrown near the tunnel that injured a Club America player, Kevin Alvarez. Chivas had been in trouble and had to have a reduced capacity last season for a match because of incidents with fans. Now they are going to have to play behind closed doors because of these incidents. Good on the league and good on the federation in Mexico. Cannot have this nonsense. Good on them for sticking to their guns and punishing Chivas in this situation. One more news bit before we go. U.S. Soccer and CBS Sports, they've reached a multi-year multimedia rights agreement that will make CBS the exclusive English language home of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup through next season's competition. Live match coverage across linear and digital platforms. Every match will stream live on Paramount Plus. The coverage will start in the third round of this year's tournament, beginning April 15th, on through the final. Games will be put on CBS Sports Network and CBS Sports Golazo Network as well. Rounds 1 and 2 are on the Open Cup streaming platform with U.S. Soccer on their YouTube channel. Uh, but with all of that, every match is available to fans this year, and that is a good step in the right direction. Love that next year will be all in with Paramount. Hopefully, they can do a lot of the other content around it, especially next year, highlighting some of the smaller clubs that'll participate. That could be really good for Paramount, and I think really good for the competition as a whole. And as I've said multiple times over the past year, get all the MLS teams in it, allow them to play their reserves if they so choose. Let's do this for 2026 and make it a gigantic, big, huge deal. Really looking forward to it. Good on U.S. Soccer and CBS Sports for getting this deal done. That's going to do it for today's Morning Espresso. We'll be back tomorrow to get you ready for Atlanta United and NYC. We'll be out at training today. You'll be able to see a training ground dispatch a little bit later this afternoon. We have the MLS six-pack coming up later tonight as well, getting you ready for the weekend around the league as a whole as we get back into league play around the world and we continue in league play in Major League Soccer. Y'all have a good rest of the day.